I have always been drawn to community. Being in community, building communities that I believe in. I was also in a cult for 12 years. I want to help you to navigate all the culty groups out there so that you can seek safely. Big red flag. But it's also a facade for something sinister. Something that would take over my life slowly over a decade with a slow build of coercion, obligation, gaslighting, and control. There are so many great things about the community clouding my judgment. I rose up the ranks, became one of the company's star recruiters. I thought that I'd found the best club ever. I had actually wandered onto the path of self-reflection and transformation without any tools for navigating or protecting myself. As I'd spent more money on time and trainings, and my worldview got more narrow, I sounded like a NXIVM robot. I was on the top of this grifty iceberg, a NXIVM pyramid. It all came to a head when I was invited to a secret NXIVM offshoot, sold to me as empowerment when it was actually enslavement. He also blackmailed many of them into sex. What happened to me was just the beginning. And when we found out what else was going on behind closed doors, I'm talking crimes ranging from blackmail, forced labor, child pornography, sex trafficking. So I went to the authorities with a band of fellow shocked ex-members, and we blew the proverbial whistle. After that, the rest is cult history. A dramatic arrest in Mexico, a 6-week trial, a 4-hour deliberation, and ultimately, a 120-year prison sentence for NXIVM's founder. On par with Jim Jones, whose rise to power culminated in the death of 900 people, 300 of which were children, for drinking poisoned Flavor Aid, which is where the term drink the Kool-Aid comes from, by the way. Needless to say, Keith Ranieri was not the noble, humanitarian, ethical genius I thought I was vouching for all those years. Nobody signs up for trauma and tragedy on purpose. In fact, a wise man once said, nobody joins a cult on purpose. Happy uncultiversary to me. You could say my story's out there in raw, gritty, personal detail. Thank you, HBO. I want to share with you cult literacy. I want to share some lessons learned so that you can seek safely. So first, you have to know that these things are everywhere. We're not talking about shaved heads and drinking goat's blood and some Stanley Kubrick horror movie, Eyes Wide Shut, masks and robes. All of those things are really beautiful. It might look like a hot yoga class where everyone's so friendly afterwards. An incredible business opportunity to sell a life-changing product from the comfort of your own home. Hashtag financial freedom, hashtag boss babe. Or a Sunday coffee hour where the congregation or the sorority sisters or Montessori moms are also quick to welcome you and shower you with praise. Cults prey on your humanity in a way that is predictable and textbook. Do people keep telling you how special you are? Yeah, well, the special part is probably true. But if that's combined with a lot of direct eye-gazing and effusive smiles, that might not be love, but love bombing. A manipulation strategy that's designed to reel you in, something that's been used by so many people, from sex traffickers to David Koresh. All that love is designed to make you feel like you're part of something. All of that love is designed to make you feel like you are part of something. Are you part of a course or a group that's telling you that they've got the answers to life's questions? Or even better yet, the answers and the solutions to the world's problems. And those courses you're buying could just be classic indoctrination. Basic us versus them mentality that's baked right in, just like the frog in the pot of water. You throw the frog in a pot of hot boiling water, it jumps out. But if you put it in cold water and you turn the heat up slowly, it stays in. Just like you don't notice, because it feels so good to be loved and be part of something. And if and when that you notice that it's not what you signed up for, how do you do that human thing called seeking when cults are insidious and any group can become culty? Nobody is. And I know some of you are thinking that'll never happen to me. If you think you're not susceptible, you're more susceptible than you know. Like, you ever had a boss ask you to work late and weekends asking you to prove your commitment to the company and you kind of felt like you couldn't say no. It could be anything from a group of college friends to a book club. And remember, it doesn't matter how rational and skeptical you are. You might not have been interested in NXIVM and my cult, but with the right place at the right time and the right trusted person inviting you, you may say yes to something else. Remember, it doesn't look like what you see on your streaming platforms. It could be as fun and friendly as... That's why it's so important to know the signs and red flags of cultic abuse, especially in this day and age. So I'm going to teach you a couple red flags, not all of them, but a couple red flags so you can spot the signs. There's an assumption of your neediness. You're a broken bird, you're unwhole, and they have all the tools to make you whole again. Secondly, it's expensive. And please know that it might cost you more than money. If they're using pretentious terms to sound holier and smarter, run. Be aware if there's rumors that they're a cult already, or if there's lawsuits or bad press. Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And finally, if they're claiming to have the definitive answers to life's mysteries, big red flag. It's important to also see green flags that can signal this is a safe group. Like questions are welcomed. You can ask things without being gaslit. Finally, there's a healthy amount of commitment, not an all-consuming change of your entire lifestyle, free of all that. Ultimately, the best advice I have for you to avoid a culty nightmare is just remember that all of these programs and communities and tools and answers and all this stuff is just a tool, not an answer. And I'm not here to point fingers and say, you're in a cult, and that's a cult, or throw that word around loosely. I just want you all to be able to determine if whatever you're part of or thinking about joining is healthy for you. That's likely why you're here today. Just don't make the tools your life. Maybe you don't need a guru. Maybe you don't need a fancy retreat or an essential oil starter kit to be a better you. You're on a path of self-discovery and knowledge, but you're already whole right now. So this is my idea for you. And I hope you remember it on your journey.